Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Jordan with Conquer Trading and Investing. I'm jumping on today unannounced ahead of schedule. I'm jumping on before the NFP numbers. I'm trading remotely. I'm broadcasting remotely. This is our first live stream away from the office. So I hope that the audio quality is okay for us. But you know what? This is a really important day for the markets. I wanted to be here with you. So we have in about 15 minutes actually the non-farm payroll numbers, and this could actually be a market mover. The market could actually start focusing in on this number again. Mark, everyone, good morning. Glad to catch on early with you. This is a big number today, and I want to see what is going on with you in real time. So the market, there's a lot of downside risk here. If the market comes in low, that's where we're going to have to look for. As far as U.S. equities, what the reaction could go either way. If we get a bad number, that could mean that the U.S. equities are going to really rally, and that could be because they expect that further easing will be coming from the Federal Reserve. Adversely, if a good print comes in, if a nice print comes in above expectations, the markets could also sell off. So anyone trading indices, be careful here, be alert, be on your toes. Let's take a look what's going on in the markets. Do have a bit of slowness on my side. I'm gonna have to somehow fix that. Bear with me here. Huh. I'm having a little bit of lag on my system. I apologize for that. I'm gonna have to find the best way to work around that. All right, let me take a look what's going on here. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna restart this browser at least, and maybe that will fix it. We have about 10 minutes here before the numbers come in. I want to make sure that we're smooth going into them. So Okay, sorry about that again. That's again, I apologize. I am trading outside of my office today. This is the first live stream from a foreign location. A couple of hiccups we've had. I think as we're now a few minutes away, 5 minutes away from the non-farm payroll print, that we're on the same page. Thanks for your patience this morning. I apologize about that. You guys missed my whole 10-minute monologue. But yeah, Blair, I also heard that the GM numbers should affect the print to the positive side. I'm expecting a good print. Wall Street is completely mixed, largely because of the poor numbers on Wednesday of the ADP numbers. And it could go either way. I'm expecting that we're going to be in line or better. I think a bad print, a really bad print, would actually benefit the indices. I think that they may rally off a bad print, expecting that further easing will be followed eventually by the Fed and looking towards that. Whereas a solid print may actually have the indices sell off. We'll just watch and see what happens. We'll watch the reaction of the market, and then we'll also formulate a plan from there. Obviously, no one should be looking to just take a trade off of the print itself. That is kamikaze nonsense. We're getting mixed reactions between there being sound and there being no sound. we had a bunch of people saying that there's sound and others saying that there's no sound. There should be sound now. If you're not, all right, we're about 3 minutes out. Again, I use Forex Factory. You have to refresh. You have to refresh this little this green circle over here in order to get what the print is. Other people use FX Street, MyFX Book. There are plenty of other, if you actually trade the news itself, there are plenty of other calendars that actually give you live pop-up alerts. I never am trading the news. I shouldn't say that, right? Rate announcements are always in play, but I'm trading that automated. It's not a problem. I'm scalping that automated. Actually, next week we're going to be covering that. We have the ECB, we have the FOMC on the 11th, and then the 12th, the ECB of next week. So we'll be taking a look together live at what it's like to trade those rate statements days. Yeah, I apologize. I jumped on today unannounced, about 45 minutes ahead of schedule. But you know what? This is an important day for the market, and I had the opportunity to do it, so I wanted to be here with you. We have just about another minute or two till we get this print, and I'm really curious to see how the market is going to go ahead and price this in. Again, here the euro, well, we're going to see one of two things happen. Obviously, we're going to see her come up and take out this resistance level above us, or then there's also the possibility that we get some further sell-off, some dollar strength comes into the market. Then we're just going to be waiting. Today might be a waiting all around. We have the weekend coming up, but really important, once this number's out of the way and how the market reacts, we could then really look at what our game plan is going to be. All right, we got about another minute. I always like to watch the charts during the announcement, and I'm usually able to tell what the number was by the reaction. I don't know how the dollar is going to react here either way, though. I'm going to be trading it live next week during it's a scalping automated system live during next Wednesday and Thursday with y'all. that print in line? Wow, look at that number. So this is going to be so mixed because the average hourly earning came in under. It was a bad number. The market's going to focus in on this. This is what the market's going to focus in on. It's not even going to focus on this enormous print. It's going to say this was because of GM, although that was only supposed to be in addition of, I believe, 40,000 jobs. Let's see what happens. My guess is we're going to see that the market focuses on this number. So it's going to be mixed. It's probably going to be then a muted reaction. But the headline number is huge. The headline number is huge. I don't think the market's going to focus in on it. Again, I think the market's going to be focusing on the average hourly earnings. They're down. That's not good. And I think the two of these are going to negate each other. Oh, that looks nice. What's our friend Gold doing on this number? Oh, how much we wanted to get some nice little action over here, right? Looks like so far the dollar has the edge. Wow, that's absolutely pretty horrific. How is that affecting the little our US dollar, Canadian dollar? She's back above two support lines here. You got a fake breakout of multiple supports. You got a support here. Another one over here. We're not trading back above. See, what's going to happen? The dollar's we're going to need to take out this level over here to see further downside movement. That would be fantastic. Right over here will be a sweet spot for us. We'll look to get long unless, of course, we never retrace upwards and fall back into this channel. I guess we're going to find out really soon whether or not the dollar is able to break down over here or this pair holds. This looks interesting. US dollar, Japanese yen is trading back into this channel. This area of support held kind of near entry right now, rising quickly though, and starting to get away from you. This looks like a pair to watch right here. I'm not really getting into or taking a look at multiple pairs yet. What's going on. I just really want to focus in first, find out what the direction is going to be. Then we could see and formulate a possible plan. This also continues to look healthy. Australian dollar, US dollar, still consolidating above this trend line up here. I'm going to find a way to be able to update everyone. For example, today, jumping on early ahead of the numbers would have been great to find a way to get that information to you. Working on that. All right, so are we seeing gold come off a little bit? Dollar still has not broken down against this pretty good resistance that we've had for the past week. Support over here. You can see it going back. There's support over here, and it's still holding right now. It'll be interesting today whether or not we do get any type of movement down to here. This is an area to watch. What happens if we reverse off this support level right here this morning today? Well, you know what? It's Friday. Markets right now are stalled out. We're going to see what's going to happen, obviously, in the next hour as we enter the opening of the U.S. equities. But I'm not looking to take any trades today whatsoever. I am very interested in this session, though. I'm very interested to see what's developing in the markets, to kind of formulate what's going to happen next week. Right? So this is a really important session for myself. Is it? I saw it selling off earlier today. Look at that nice little candle. And is that's yen related? That's not pound related, huh? I'm sure that I got stop that over here. Again, I didn't play the pound, US dollar or Japanese yen discretionary, but I did take both those on an automated system. They took profits along the way up, but had still a bunch of positions open. I'm sure that they got stopped out into this. I haven't even checked yet. So I don't think I'm benefiting from this little spike right here. The US dollar here is definitely having its way. This is a nice pair to focus in on, I guess, for really short-term minded folks, because we had those really weak Canadian dollar numbers. US numbers are mixed, but the dollar seems to be firming up so far. Wondering if we're going to get any follow through on that. Yen is definitely weak. Why is the yen weak? So we have the weak Canadian dollar battling out with the weak yen. This is kind of, well, it's kind of a mess. I think you want to wait for it to get above this resistance line up here to even think about taking any longs at this point, as we get into a really narrow range of this resistance and this support over here. Stay away right now. Looks like as far as yen's concerned, the US dollar is the pair to be looking at this morning. US dollar, Canadian dollar looks to be the pair to be focused in on any short-term trades. Got a lot of traders right now on this pair on the wrong side, obviously, as these two support levels were broken. This is definitely over here. Got a lot of traders trapped. I'm curious to see what the narrative is. Anything here about the hourly earnings? Not yet. So I guess the narrative comes after the market plays out. It's only 10 minutes after the numbers. For the next 10 minutes, we could see actually it's possible to see a break of support and the continuation of the move. And then about 10 minutes before the top of the hour, we would then see most likely the move start to retrace a little bit into US equities open. Market is kind of muted. You've seen like what looks to be like a 10-15 pip move here, and then we're just kind of muted right now. It's a good time for us to go ahead and start looking at the overall market. Let's start with the DXY. Coming back into this pocket here, this was a a support. This was a supply zone, which broken. We're coming back up into it. This should be resistance right now. All right, market's got a lot of work to do. I guess that's why the Euro US dollar is stuck now at that support level. We'll see. We'll see where she's trading at the end of this session, right? Is she rejected over here? Is she get stuck in here or able to pull through? That will provide a lot of clues to what's going to develop next week. Here we're sitting at the support right now. You can see it's been holding ever since this breakout over here. We've been trapped between this overhead resistance and this support, and price is still within that range right now. I was reading yesterday, I began reading, and for the first time, Mark Douglas is trading in the zone. Thanks for sending that over. I really appreciated that. And always like to read on In Flight. Fantastic book. I guess from time to time, it would be really beneficial to just share a little bit of what I'm getting from it. And it's interesting that, I mean, it's really good. But there are some things I definitely have different perspective that's offered. I think we're also trading here similarly, just like on the Euro US dollar, we're trading down at a support level. Here we're trading up at a resistance level. If she breaks above, this could provide some nice opportunity next week. If we get back into this rising wedge and above this resistance that she's currently trading at right now. US dollar, Canadian dollar is also interesting now that we've, again, broken down and then faked that out, reversed upwards, and are now trading above 1, 2, 3 support levels, right? Any pullback to either this upper trend line or this support level, support area over here, will give an opportunity to get long. There is some upside here now. She's got a little work to do. She's got a little resistance right above. Definitely the strength now is skewed, definitely long US dollar, Canadian dollar though. I do expect that she'll be making new highs in this session. That's one to focus on, anyone short-term minded. Euro, Japanese yen, this is mixed. We are seeing definitely yen weakness though across the board. Next week, and if we regain this little support line here today, there could be a nice play absolutely here on this pair, right? Above this, if we retake this support line right here. This looks like we're going to be extending upwards to new highs here on the pound Canadian dollar. Again, we have the weak Canadian dollar. This is in play. There's little overhead resistance in this moment. You have about what looks to be like some decent room to the upside. I don't expect the Canadian. I think the Canadian dollar is going to stay weak this session. Can't imagine it turning itself around here. Australian dollar is extending gains versus the dollar. Is the dollar still holding up elsewhere, or did it run into this overhead resistance? Yeah, it's coming off a tiny bit. What's that look like on the euro? Same thing here. It's a little. That could be an actual reversal because it's still early. It's less than 15 minutes after the actual print itself. Let's watch what continues to happen. But do note the Australian dollar is looking strong right now versus the dollar. Pound is just taking a bit of a breather after all the work gets done. Looking better versus the yen, of course. Yen is totally weak. This just really stands out to me here on the US dollar, Swiss franc. This was on a day that the US dollar was extremely weak, and this support down here, the bottom of the range, held. Why the every other pair was making pretty big gains versus the dollar. So again, this is just a big range going back multi-months. This looks interesting. Again, below this, we have this consolidation area here, this blue box. The top of it is resistance, the bottom of it is support. Looks like we're trading below it now. We see that the Australian dollar is stronger than the euro against the dollar. That leads me to believe that the Australian dollar is stronger than the euro. You see that manifesting right here on the pair itself and below the support. Not yet, definitely not yet. It's Friday. Don't forget that it is Friday. But if we stay close below this support over here, this becomes resistance next week. Then finally, this pair comes into play for myself. Be looking to go short it if possible. Yep. We could take a look at that. So one thing that I really want to focus on, and that we do focus on, of course, just really quick to review. We're generally looking with a top-down approach, looking at the daily for support and resistance, for trend lines and chart patterns, and then we're trading around them. I go down to the 8-hour, look for better entries on the 8-hour off of those support and levels, those support and resistance levels, which are found on all time frames. If you draw it here on the daily, then even if you're looking at the 30-minute chart or 5-minute chart, it's the same exact levels in play. The 8-hour is obviously providing a nice filter versus a lot of false signals and price fluctuations. The only indicator I use is the true trend indicator. I use this on the 8-hour, and I use this as a guide to show me which direction the trend is in, as well as to prevent me from chasing price. So it gives me better entries. Now, you want to keep it simple. You don't want to have too many indicators on your chart ever, and you don't want to have too many conflicting signals and information that's just going to distract you. All right. So the first thing that you want to do is keep trading as simple as possible, because you could come up with a million different conflicting signals that are just really going to confuse you. And I don't want to do that by adding too much to the charts. It's already a lot here. If someone's looking at this chart for the first time, I think they're really confused with all these lines that are drawn in here. Of course, I know what they mean and what they are. If you pull back, you could see, this is that long trend line. I have it still drawn in here because if we trade back down, this is going to come into play. Again, I don't want to confuse people who are just looking at all this stuff for the first time. The less, the better when it comes to trading. The question is what is going to happen? I'm going to continue looking at the rest of these pairs, but the question is, as we're continuing in this session, is what's going to happen. Again, from the very beginning, I believe this number is mixed because you have this enormous beat here, but average hourly earnings, the Fed is focused on this, and this is not a good print. So in my view, these numbers are more bad than good. You could always get, this number could always bounce. It's more of a medium over the past, I don't know how many months they look at, whether they're looking at 3 months or 6 months. That really gives the better idea. But this is alarming that the average hourly earnings are down in the US. So I think it's more, I think at the end of the day, it's just going to be a mixed number. And that could mean that we just hold this range here. What does that look like on the DXY? All right, and this is why you don't want to trade the initial reaction of the number. You get suckered in. You're suckered in if you play the initial market reaction. It's much better to trade your game plan. Don't ever be in a rush to take a trade. Wait for your trades to come to you. And the only reason you want to do that is because I know that sometimes you feel as a trader that like the way that you make money is by taking trades. That's actually how you lose money, by taking too many trades, by actually just waiting for the trades and your setups to come to you and taking those high probability setups. You're going to make a lot more money, right? You should be taking, really no more than 12 trades a month, and you're going to be doing a lot better. So as of right now, all we're noticing is that price is being rejected here at this resistance level. All right, just got a lot of work to do to reclaim this, to get back up in here and through this area. So right now, this is acting as resistance. It's probably more beneficial if I draw in a red line. What does that mean? I mean, number one, today is Friday, right? That's most important. We have a lot of time left in this session, and there could be some things that develop, but it's Friday and the market doesn't seem to be giving an edge. It's not trending, that's for sure. All right, it made an initial jump and now it's retracing it, but that's because we still have about 35 minutes before the US markets open, the US indices, equity markets, and we look just to be trading in this narrow range between support and resistance here. All right. If we get a breakdown here, if that does materialize, again, that's just a sign for myself to wait until we get closer to here to look for. Here you have double resistance. You could see my mouse cursor going to the left, and you could see we have the strong support down here, that's for sure. But I also see another support line right here where my mouse is right now. So that says anywhere around here is a really good opportunity. The closer I get to this line, the better. I'm not trading anything long over here. The only way I will think about longs again is if we get above this line. And I know you could be like, Jordan, look, we have entry criteria right now. The true trend is positive. The entry CCI is pulled back and we're at support. Yes, but you have a very poor risk to reward if you do get a long signal with this resistance right above you. That's what I mean by waiting and picking your setups. Wait until you have good risk to rewards, trading off of support or resistance, and take those trades. I know it's a lagging indicator, and because it being a lagging indicator, it's not until the economy has come off that we're truly in recession that you start seeing these numbers also come off. And I also know that the numbers jump from month to month, Blair, and you know, one print does not mean anything when it comes to non-farm payroll. The market has not been focused in on them. Of course, any type of warning signals that the U.S. consumer is coming off, that the job market's coming off, all of a sudden will change all that really quick, and you will see the street really focused in on that. But that's the last thing to happen as far as before the U.S. Enters into a bear market and we're in recession. The last thing to come off is always the job market. It is lagging, as well as so I don't really pay much of mind to it. We haven't been paying much mind of it at all because the market's not focused on it, except today, this week, when we saw this big miss. All of a sudden, you could have, if this was a big miss also, then it would have become a huge deal because everyone would start getting worried. Again, this average hourly earning to me is a much bigger concern. This is, the question is this looking back to last month? Yeah, and then they're going to revise it also, right? So today we will get the revisions of last month, and these are just lagging indicators. The markets doesn't really used to see in the past, and you will see again in the future. You'll see big volatility on non-farm payroll days, but not now. That's why I say we're only looking at the next week, the FOMC meeting. There you're going to see the market move and react. Maybe the market also knows that it expects it to be on hold, but the forward guidance is a big deal. The market's not really focused in this moment, and I thought that this could have been a turning point this week, where all of a sudden the focus would be returning to non-farm payroll days, which is fantastic, right? We like volatility. Alberto, good morning. Alberto, I noticed you followed me on Twitter. Go ahead and also follow this account, is where I'm much more active on BTC _growth bot. I'll throw that in there. But if you direct message me on either one, I'll see it. All right. I honestly thought that we were going to see a little bit more fireworks today than we have so far this morning. That's okay. I think it's just as equally as important to be able to assess what is happening and to understand. And as a trader right now, I mean, the first thing that you should really be aware of and know is that that's why you don't chase markets and trade off of market news alone, because had you trade that at first initial impulse, you're probably underwater right now. It's much better always, guys, take a step back, really be patient, and wait for the markets to come to you. That's the hard part about trading, is that there's always opportunity, and therefore you feel that you always should be doing something. This would actually be the normal time we jump on together. And had we wouldn't have missed anything, but I'm glad we got in a little earlier today. Again, it's Friday. Always be aware of your surroundings. Are we trending? Are we ranging? Market seems to be on pause right now, figuring out what it wants to do next. I hope we do get a breakdown over here. Again, I would like the opportunity to take a look at getting long this pair, but not down here. What about the US dollar, Japanese yen? She's stuck, right? You got this overhead resistance. We would love for her to overtake there. Once she overtakes this resistance up here, then a long looks a little bit safer and easier. But technically, she's still holding up very well. Just this line over here, this green line is important support, and she continues to hold above it. Gold started selling off pretty big on the number, and again is holding that support really well. This up here was the possibility we were looking for an entry. I was traveling yesterday. I know a lot of traders are attracted to actively trading, and the number one thing you could start doing to improve your trading is by changing that. Again, if you're taking more than 12 trades a month, maximum 15, you're taking too many trades. And the first thing you could do to begin turning around your performance would be to start taking less trades and to be taking them off of higher time frames. Kind of stalled right now. That's okay. Just to be able to recognize the fact that we're stalled is good. I'm waiting to see someone talk about the average hourly earnings. Back with you. So I'm looking for someone to be mentioning what's going on with the average hourly earnings. The market's not just focused there. Here we go. This is saying the average hourly earnings for all employees on private non-farm payrolls rose by 7 cents. I'm confused, to be honest. This is saying employees are responding to a tight labor market with higher hourly wages. Well, I don't know what to make of that. Lupita, we break a level. All right. Yeah, we saw an initial euro come off about 15 pips or so versus the dollar. But she's holding the support, and if we break through, then we're just going to be waiting for a long entry if we bounce off this area over here. Right now, if she holds the support, we're just looking to see what happens around this resistance up here. Then she's got to take out above this resistance. Once she gets above this resistance, then we look to take a long, or down here we'll look to take a long. This is no man's land. All right, this was no man's land because you have this resistance right above. You got this support down here with no favorable risk to reward. Looks like the US dollar is trying to make that push. It's starting to make new highs now, new session highs here on the US dollar, Canadian dollar. We still have about 22 minutes before the US equity markets open. If anyone's looking at anything, if anyone wants to take a look at something together, let us know. Absolutely more than happy to do that. I'm seeing the market right now as kind of stalled. Obviously, if we do break through the current support and resistance levels, a lot of pairs are sitting on. US dollar, Japanese yen has resistance right above it over here. Euro US dollar is sitting on support over here. US dollar, Canadian dollar looks like it is the play to look at if you're looking for some short-term trades today. A lot of momentum against the Canadian dollar. But this looks like to me that, again, if we're able to break through these next levels, then I guess some possible setups. I'm not going to play the breakout if we break down over here because it's just outside my criteria. This definitely is becoming a day to assess what's going on for the upcoming sessions for the week ahead. Of course, we'll take a look at the US dollar, Swiss franc. Raj, good morning. Good afternoon. Let's take a look at her. Boom. So first thing to look at again is on the daily, and the reason this big blue box is here because this is just a congestion zone, a range play between this resistance up here and the support down here. Now, remember, a couple people took the sell off over here, off the resistance up here. This was not something I was even considering or looking at because I don't play the range. I'm looking to trade things that are moving, not sideways. This wound up being a fantastic trade, but we saw when price came down here towards the bottom of the range that while the US dollar was really weak, this stalled out and actually traded stronger than the Swiss franc that day. And that was because it was just trading off the support, and that's where it is right now. It's just within this range. So the only way to play that is to be buying the bottom portion of the range and selling the top. But that's not something that I look to do until this breaks out of this blue box. For me, this pair is just on hold. Again, your edge here, your advantage is a couple fold. It's first of all having that plan. First of all, having that awareness that market awareness, what is happening, right? New traders, they get sucked into trades, reacting. They're very reactive. They react to news events. They react to momentum and to price moving. They're normally chasing momentum, and they normally overtrade. Those are the three things, some of the three biggest factors that will really destroy your account, right? The way we do it is that we know exactly what we're doing. We have a plan. Number two is we're very patient waiting for that plan to develop. And number three, our edge in the market is our knowledge and trading smarter, right? But taking trades that have this high probability, trading off of support and resistance instead of selling and buying into them, and always looking for favorable risk to rewards. You have to trade with the correct position sizes. You can't be trading too big, and you can't have your stops too tight. You have to always have your stops losses when buying below the support levels and when selling above resistance levels. I took some positions on the New Zealand dollar, Swiss franc, and Japanese yen. And I'm just holding them. It was a couple of days ago. Was it breaking towards the top of a rising channel? She definitely broke out about this. This is over here. This was a sloping channel. And we had this lighter channel here above here. This was also in play. We didn't know really which one was going to be relevant. And then when price broke out over here, it was tough to get into over here. And the way I got in was not my textbook setup. It was on a different personal type account that I needed, and I just wanted to take those positions. Either which way, what is happening is you're above this strong support here. You have this rising channel that price kind of respected. It dipped down and tailed into here. So I would say this support area was more into play. But on the downside here, I think that this rising slope channel over here will definitely be respected. This should be support now. And as price comes off, you should see that come into play further alongside as things develop. To the upside, what are you looking at? You have some resistance. We're getting close to some resistance overhead, right? About 30 pips higher. And then a lot more stronger resistance overhead up here. We'll see. This is going to be largely dependent on what happens, obviously, with the global economy, which is dependent on what happens with this phase one deal with China. I'm more concerned, and it'll be, I guess, next week, the market will start looking towards it. We will start looking towards whether or not those December 15th tariffs are going to be triggered or not. Well, I guess what it looks like is there's going to be no phase one trade deal, and the US probably won't raise tariffs, right? Probably the US won't raise tariffs on the 15th, and also there probably still won't be any one phase deal. That's my base case. Until we got up to here, way higher, this is really where you have some heavy resistance overhead. If things work out and we get some really big moves. This is not tradable right now. There's nothing going on where you should be looking for an entry later on. And as soon as you're able to find one, we'll take a look at it, because I'll be looking to build my position. So the way that the way that I deal with moving my stop losses, and highly recommend it, it's absolutely super effective. We're just gonna well, we could do it over here. Last euro trade we took was a short from off of this resistance up here, right around this area over here. I believe I took mine over here, right where my mouse is right now. Some other traders got it in over here. This was a better entry. As price moved down towards the next the support level we had over here, as price was approaching it, at that point the stop was moved to break even, and we didn't take profits. We were waiting to see how price reacted, right? See if price stalled out, started rising, or if it broke through. So the only thing that we do is, as price moves towards our first support or resistance levels, move our stop to break even at that point, and then don't have a take profit in, wait to see what price does. In this case, it was because of the Hong Kong bill being signed. I took profits. Price stalled out here. Oh, it faked down and break down, and then when it started reversing up, that's when others took profit ahead of time. We're looking now, if we get above this resistance level here, to begin looking for longs. We have this next resistance on up here. If we got long over here, as price moved towards this test of this resistance, it moves stop loss to break even. You don't want to be keep locking in too much profit, because then what you're doing is you're preventing the move from happening, right? We're looking for some pretty. We're trying to give trades ample room to really develop, right? To get some really nice moves, if that's what price allows for. And if you lock in too much profit too quickly, you're gonna be preventing your profits. So the best thing to do is look for the nearest support or resistance level, and as price gets there, lock in your stop, lock it into break even, and then if price stalls or reverses, you take profit. But you're giving it the room at that point to break through that nearest support or resistance level, and then you move out to the next. And again, you're not looking to take profit, you're looking to see what price does at that next level. Alberto, could you send that? Could you actually, that link to that chart you drew up, which I want to take a look at? Could you direct message me on Twitter, and then I'll pull it up here on the live stream to take a look at. That's the best way to get a message through, especially during the live streams. Yeah, Leonard. So it looks like you were trading off of some small time frames, and you were over positioned. That it looks like you were trading a short time frame with big size, because otherwise, walking away for a couple hours probably would have had that trader probably would have had room to roam, and you wouldn't have been so worried about it. If you're trading short time frames, you do need to be locking in that profit, taking profit quickly. It's hard to trade off short time frames. It's really hard, and don't confuse yourself if you have a couple of good trades, or even 8 in a row. Normally what happens if you're trading big size on short time frames, just one gets away from you. One getting away from you will wipe out a series of gains. Alberto, I'm taking a look out for that direct message. I want to see that chart that you want to share. Listen, everyone that's here with us, I want to really improve your trading. I definitely want to get you profitable, and it's in your control. To do that, you're going to have to really take better trades. Okay, Lupita, if you were trading gold, so we were looking to short off of this resistance. That's the trade that the last time we spoke on Wednesday that we were looking at. We weren't, until this level was, the bulls took this level out to the upside, we weren't looking to go long. And if you had taken a short, right, your stop had been above this last high over here, and so there's no way you should have lost money on gold. And it's okay you did, but let's plan it out better together. If you would have been shorting gold on the right side of the trade and then gotten stopped out, well, that would have been okay. That happens. That happens. There's nothing wrong with being stopped out of a good trade, but we just want to get you making good trades, right? Good trades meaning that you have to be respecting the support and resistance levels. In this case, this was a resistance level. The breakout never held to the upside. We were looking to the short side, right? So you have to be trading in the right direction with the right position size, meaning depending on how far your stop is, however far your stop is, make sure it's in make sure it's above the last resistance point and swing high or low, and also have the correct size of that position, maximum 1%. Therefore, you're never pressured into having to exit that trade early. And again, we need to get people taking less trades and better trades. Absolutely. And that's the goal here. We're gonna get everyone really improving their trading. It's got to come from you. It's really got to come. You got to make the decisions, and that's the hard part. Is off. Here's the thing: is you get to make the decisions, and you have basically unlimited decisions to make. Uh, there are no rules. You get to make the rules. I'm not, but I'm gonna really guide you and show you what works for me. And especially those that have already been spending a few weeks with us and really have, I know you've gained a definitely a much better insight into the markets and are now be able to view things better. Let's start getting it to click, and that starts with really taking fewer trades. You should have no more than 3 trades a week until you know what you're doing. And then of course there trades come in waves. So when there's a wave, there's usually multiple setups on multiple pairs. But until those waves come, you got to be waiting for your wave. Alberto, the other way to do it is if you go to postimages.org and upload your screenshot. You could either you could try post it in the chat. I would love that. Would be the easiest thing to do, but I don't know if the link comes through or not. And then the other thing to do is direct message it to Twitter, which is easy. Or I guess you could also take a screenshot here on TradingView. If you go to, if you were to click, for example, no, I don't know. There's got to be a way to take a screenshot here with TradingView. There you go. There's a camera. Yeah, you could just do that. And then press copy that's the easiest way if you're using TradingView. And then just send that link over. About 5 minutes to the US equities open. The next 15 minutes, it is possible that we get some further moves here to the downside that we're able to break through. Let's see what happens. We're watching for that. US dollar, Canadian dollar. Let's see what is happening. That is really in play this morning. All right, inching its way upwards, still continuing to trade at session highs. Good question, Danielle. Let's take a look at gold. Alberto, no problem. Whenever you could do it, you could send it over. We'll take a look at it. There's no problem, no rush. I just don't want to be the one holding you up. Do I think gold will continue to break down this near support level over here? So this is the way I look at it and approach it. I have no idea, but at this point, and this is really good for everyone, for all of us to be reviewing, the possible short trade was over here, off of this resistance level right over here. And if you are short this trade, okay, again, we didn't have a live stream yesterday. It was the first time since we all began. I was traveling with my wife, so I wasn't trading at all. This was Wednesday, something we were looking at, possible looking for short gold, as this resistance level up here was holding. You saw I tried to break out long here. It didn't hold. So then you had possibilities to get short over here. Trade is developing now. Now that you're at the nearest support, you're moving your stop loss to break even. All right. And you're not looking to take profit. You're looking to see what price does at this support level over here. Okay. So what the price does is at a support level, it will either break through it or it'll start stalling out and bounce off it. So you have to wait right now. And you're expecting and hoping, that it's going to break through, right? If you see price start stalling and not breaking through and then reversing upwards, you have two decisions. You can either take that profit from this trade, which is good. It's good to take profit, even if it's at the nearest support or resistance level, or you just wait for your stop to get taken out at break even, giving it that room to see if it breaks through. Same thing if you do break through, and remember, this is a breakthrough. They normally happen with momentum. Once price starts stalling, it normally gets rejected. Stalling, rejected, breakthrough. So you'll see probably sometime within the next 90 minutes if this is going to break through. And if it breaks through, then what happens is you get down to the next level lower. Same thing, right? Give it that room. Give it that you can move. You could move if you want to start really leveling your stop loss in to lock in profits. I do not do this more often than not. I do not do this on a discretionary system. Only on an automated system. This is what I'm doing though. I move. You stop loss in. You're above the last broken support, which is now resistance, and because I'll do that manually. You're waiting to see what happens down here. Are we going to stall out? If we stall out, if you see price going sideways, then you could look. If it starts retracing upwards, take your profit. But you want to give it that little room to see if this level breaks. Because if you got into a trade over here, you're able to take out the first support level, take out the second support level. Now you have a home run on your hands. You have about 30 pips below here, $30 below here from this nearest latest support level to look to take profits, and that's a home run. So each trade you take, you want to be protective of your trade, but at the same time, you're always looking for that home run, and you have to allow the price to be able to have that leeway to get there. Why did the pound US dollar was actually making a move downwards overnight? This is probably two reasons. The first reason I'll give was because, well, Price was really, 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 really overbought, right? On the breakout. And almost always on a breakout of that magnitude, you're going to see some type of retracement. The retracement has been really shallow so far, and it's holding this latest. I would mark this area over here as support right now, right around there, about 25 pips below where we are right now. Um, it's a good possibility. The possibility exists. It wouldn't be unusual for this level to be even broken, and for us to look down further over here for some strong support. This is where you'd want to get long if we could get down here and test down here. Um, there was some report I read. Let me find it. It was just a headline I read, and it said that Prime Minister Johnson says the Corbyn document is complete nonsense. So again, it seems to me he's refuting an earlier claim by Corbyn on Brexit. So that also might have been the trigger which caused this little bit of sell off, this little bit of retracement. So it's technical in nature, and at the same time, there is a headline that kind of could have been the trigger for that. So you can't expect the breakout to last forever. You have to have some type of retracement, and price is now just figuring out where it believes it should be. That's normal price behavior. This was not really that affected by the non-farm payroll print. This was happening beforehand. Wow. 0.75% across the board on all the indices. I thought a good print could definitely have had the opposite effect, and equities would have sold off on it because they know that they're getting no help from the Fed. So, I really have to find that chart for you all. I want to show the chart of what the tops look like on indices going back. I don't know. It might be going back to 50 years or more. But as you always want to visualize what could happen and what they all look like, is you see this here, you see very close together, a higher high, followed by a sell off. And then this one over here, this move will not make a higher high. If the indices don't make a higher high here and roll over, that becomes a very interesting pattern to look at, follow, and watch. I really want to share these charts with you. It's one of the coolest charts I enjoy looking at. So just to keep an eye on that, and we'll wait and see what happens. And I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just saying if you were to see next week price not make a higher high here and then start rolling over, then that becomes interesting. Gold's making that push. That's tough. When I do trade metals, I trade gold, not silver, but always be aware that on the way down, silver leads. Up and down, and on the way up, it also leads. You see bigger moves. You see some support down here. You see this is definitely a support level that it's trading right now. This is going to make that push. They look like they're slipping. I wish I was holding short. Okay, Albert, excellent. We're taking a look at Bitcoin, and I'm looking at this resistance level you join in over here very nicely. You see the touch over here where support, support, support broken, and you see, and notice, this is for everyone, this is really important. Notice how price acts around the support, it stalls out, and then when it really breaks through, look at the break with force. And then over here, the bottom one, you have support. Well, this was support, it broke, then resistance, broke again, now support. So this area, right, price is trading below it. That's the nearest resistance level. You have above at 74.10. You also have right now this channel that you drew in, right, and is being respected. I wish I could zoom in a little bit on your chart. Let me see. You could see that this trend line here that you have, this upper channel resistance, when it broke, it then is now holding a support. So you're kind of in no man's land, right? You see that you're trading above this trend line here, which should be acting as support now because you're above it. And on the way down, it's holding, but you have this resistance right above you here. So until price gets above this resistance here, right, at that point, you're looking for long trades and you have some room. You have another small resistance line right there horizontally, where you would look to move your stop to break even. Or if you trade back down into the channel, you're looking to go short again, and you'll be testing down here, probably close. We'll be testing and trading down closer to 6,000 if that happens. But right now, you're neutral. You're neutral. You're right below. You have this resistance right above your head, and you have below this channel support right here. All right. So right now you have no edge. Don't want to be in it. You're looking for these two catalysts to occur. Either get back above this resistance line right here, then you look for the retest to get long. Or if you trade below it, then you have some. If you trade back into this channel, we have some downside, and then that's going to be a little bit dangerous. We'll be looking, I think, to test closer down towards 6,000. Yeah, well, Ian, During the live stream where later in that stream, I wish I was holding Australian dollar, US dollar. I'm not. Again, my stop was down here. I had some difficulties getting into the trade. I didn't get into the trade. Price was trading, I believe, like right around here, above the entry. What would I take? And on Wednesday's live stream, you go ahead and take a look in that replay. I said it. I was not able to get into the trade. I'm not in it. Price would have been in profit. Whether it was 5-10 pips, and you know, I I like the setup, and I would have taken the trade, and the trade would just now be a little bit into profit, but holding this trend line down here. No, I'm not. I'm not in the trade. The trade is valid. Would continue to be valid, but I'm not in it. As far as gold, if you're long gold right now, you have no reason to be long gold. This is a great trade to look at. We just looked at it actually. But again, you have this resistance line up here, and until it's broken, it's broken and then it's tested successfully as support, and then until price resumes upwards, there's absolutely no way to be long gold. And this is okay. It's okay that you're long gold and that you're on the wrong side, because it's a really good learning experience. Again, you're looking to take the correct trades and you're looking to trade infrequently. If you're long gold here, you're wrong, right? You're wrong because this is where you sell gold at the resistance level. And right here, you had been looking to see if you take profit, but price is breaking down below. And most likely, we're going to be looking down lower. Another $8 or so. Sorry, it's 61. Another $6 or so to be looking to see what happens next. Do you continue holding the short, or do you take profit? Listen, if you're long gold right now, if the trade's going against you, it makes no sense. Best thing to do is get out of the market and then just hold off on trading. Right? It's Friday. Fantastic to watch a few replays, and then you'll have a solid understanding of what you should be looking for and how you should be looking for it. That right there is going to all of a sudden like move the needle in your favor a whole bunch. All right. You get the decisions to make. It's up to you completely what you do. Start following what we're doing and how we're doing it, and you're going to see your understanding and profitability increase pretty quickly. But you're on the wrong side of gold right now. We're only looking to sell gold off this resistance. We're selling off resistance and we're buying off support in the direction of the trend. Blair, moving averages, of course, I don't use them. Again, the less things you have going your way. If you're a day trader, if you're focused trading off of the 1 hour, the moving averages are fantastic to be looking at, to be taking into consideration. There is Greg on this site. Who's Greg? Greg uses the moving averages intraday and is a solid indicator. I'm trying to find a chart that he posts. Come back to that in a second as soon as it loads for you. I just want to give you an example of how he uses the moving averages. This blue line right here is the 200-day moving averages. He uses Fibonacci fib levels and moving averages to key off of intraday, and they're good guides. Okay, if that's what you do. The reason I don't do that is because, again, the less you're using, the less conflicting signals you have, the better in trading. So however you're trading, what I found and why I trade with what I trade with, because it works. Whatever you're using to trade off of, you want to focus in on that and develop your strategy around that. You can't have too many conflicting variables, because already to begin with in trading, you have almost an unlimited amount of variables. All right. So I find, clearly support and resistance along with trend lines, and then my true trend provides just the easiest, simple, and best edges I could work off of. But moving averages work. Fib levels work too, right? A lot of traders focus in on them. Yeah, real simple. In case you missed it, if you're long gold, you're dead wrong. There's no reason to be long gold. If you're in a trade and you don't know why you're in a trade, get out of the trade, and then don't trade again. Just spend a little bit of time. By spending a little bit of time following what's going on, uh, you're gonna then you have a chance of succeeding in the markets. If you're trading blindly, where you're gonna lose all your money and really quickly. So again, it's up to you. But if you're in gold, first of all, you have no reason to be long gold. Or at least explain to us why you are long gold, because what I see is this resistance up here, and you should be selling off that resistance right now. You should be locking your profit in, or you're locking your stop to break even. I'm just waiting to see if we get some further movement and get to hold this trade even further. Again, the best thing you can do if you're long gold is get out of gold, stop trading, and watch some replays. Spend all day watching replays of the last week, and then you're going to really up your game and understand what's going on and what you need to look for. Indices are continuing to make new highs for the day. Good morning, Hanero. Thanks, Michael. Appreciate it. My gold is definitely moving today. It's an awesome trade. I wish I was in it. No big deal. There's going to be plenty more opportunity. Um, I, I I don't know. I feel like I would have been in it had I not been traveling yesterday. That's fine. It's just it's really nice to not be involved in a trade and see it work out as you perceived it was going to work out. You start doing that all the time, believe me, then when you start taking the trades, they're going to be working out in your favor. All right, better, like, if you're trading and you're not making money, just stop trading. Begin trading, figure out what we're doing, how we're doing it. We're sharing it with you all, top to bottom, sharing it with you, right? It's up to you to invest the time, turn your trading around. Again, if you're not making money, you should not be taking more than 12 trades a month, and you should be focused in on the higher time frames. Start making money. Let's take a look at the euro pound. It's been a long time since we've had some type of. This is breaking down further. I'm going to extend this trend line over here, and let's see what happens. I think I need to go down to the weekly in order to be able to. Let me try 3 days. All right. So let's take a look at the euro British pound. I was staying away from this. We were kind of, let me go back to the daily now. We were, as soon as we broke out of this trend line, we were sideways for a while. I was looking and waiting until we got above this resistance line all the way up here to begin looking at her, because at that point, this becomes a beautiful trade. Uh, as we are right now, and we have seen this breakout on the British pound versus all pairs. This is also really materializing here. I think what you have to be looking for is what happens as price gets closer to down here. I think you want, if you are short this pair, that's awesome. This wasn't even on my radar. But you have to look what's going to happen as you get closer to this trend line over here to see whether or not that's where you're going to be looking to take profits. Right now, you're involved in a breakdown, and that's awesome. I don't see any other type of play here though. As far there seem to be other pairs offering really good opportunity on the pound, and I don't think that's here. But this is also slow and steady, right? So you have over here like a glacier moving really slowly in the same direction. And it looks like this is going to continue. This looks clearly like it's going to continue to the downside. You got some room over here if you're involved in this pair. And Michael, if you're involved in it, I would like to know how and why and what. And if you could share a chart, that's even awesome. But I'm still on the sidelines on this pair. I'm not really, you know, that's it. Wilfried, welcome. I'm glad that you're here. And if you are a beginner and you're here, I would say you have a lot going for you. And here we go. We are seeing the dollar break out. Is that materializing most in gold, or is gold mellowing out? Gold's kind of mellowing out. What about the US dollar, Japanese yen? So is it mostly just the euro? It's mostly just, is it mostly just the euro that's weakening here? Let's check out the DXY also. Yep, DXY. Well, that's heavily euro based. All right, so this is excellent. Again, if by the end of today we make our way even further down here, this is going to open up the possibility on Monday to be looking for a long. All right, this is the pocket we're looking for. If we get down towards this area on the euro, US dollar, that's going to set up the possibility to buy off of this support. This is trend line. Broken resistance becomes support. If we get down over here, one of two things going to happen. If price resumes upwards, I'll look to get long, and I'll know I'm wrong right away. If we break this resistance level, resistance level, I'm going to be looking for shorts. So this is where I want to see price. Wilfred, if you're here and you're new, this is a really great place to be. Really, really, really great place to be and starting. So the first thing you're doing then, if you're new, is you're not trading at all, even a little. Spend a little time, watch any live session, but definitely the replays. And I think by watching, I'm not sure, but I think by watching just a few replays, you will get a wealth of an education. You will have a better foundation than the vast majority of any of the traders in the markets who's just starting out. Of course, if you've been trading for a while and you have a lot of experience on your belt, you're going to be picking things up a lot easier and a lot quicker, and you have a lot to bring to the table. That's really helpful. But starting out with this type of plan is really, I'd be interested in to see how long it took someone who just came to the markets fresh, started following, doing what we're doing, how long it took them to start being comfortable and making money in the markets. Yeah, Alberto, usually, I mean, TradingView is a solid product. I really love it. I love it for its charting, and I love following the charts much more on TradingView than on MetaTrader 4. But I do have my 8-hour chart set up on MetaTrader 4, and I do all my trading on MetaTrader 4, and it's, it's unbelievable how old the product is, but it's stable and it's solid, and I love it. Yeah, I mean that's right. Me too, Hanero. And the thing about trading is time, and time is on your side as a trader, as an investor. Time is on your side. Time is your biggest asset if you learn how to use it. And time and compounding money, compounding returns, and time could work against you if you're trading on a short time frame. If you're over trading, or if you're trading too soon, then you have time working against you. Right now, time is an asset. If you're just starting out, you have absolutely no idea what you're doing. Just like when you were riding a bike, or just like when you're doing anything. So you need to put in that time to understand, know what you're doing. If you can't make money on a demo, you won't be able to make money on a live account. And there's no way jumping into the markets, not knowing what you're doing, you can make money at all, period, zero chance. So, be smart and invest some time right now. Invest in yourself. And that's the only option. That's awesome, Wilfred. Look at this. This is nice. Really enjoying this. Wilfred, I would love to see you sometime within the next week, if you have time over the weekend, to go ahead and just send me a note and let me know how it is you're starting out. And I recommend it's exactly doing what we're doing, but I want to see that initially come from you. And I want you to say, I want you to, if you have yet even started to formulate what your trading plan is, I want to look at that. I want to know what that is, because I'll be able to really help you polish that and develop that. But it's got to initially come from you. You have to go ahead and watch a few different replays, understand what we're doing on your own, put it down on paper to me, as simple or detailed as possible. And if it comes from you, I'm willing to help you. Let's take a look at the pound Australian dollar. This is going to be a tough one. The Australian dollar has been pretty strong, and so has the pound. All right, so right now you have a battle here between the pound and the Australian dollar. The pound is obviously very strong relatively to other currency pairs. But the Australian dollar is not weak in this moment for ever since the central bank was on hold. I guess that was on Monday. It's been holding its own pretty well. So the edge is not here, right? You want to find out which pairs are strong, which pairs are weak, and then you want to be looking to trade with those. So you want to just always be adding as many edges as possible, right? So we're looking for our technical setups. We're looking to trade off of support and resistance. And then you want to go ahead, and if you could throw in, trading with pairs that are, strong versus pairs that are weak, that's also another edge, because these two pairs are both relatively strong. Sure, you could actually even see, although the pound has been stronger than just about everything, the Australian dollar has actually been stronger than the pound. Not today, where other pairs are, but earlier in the week. So I think you want to stand aside on the pound Australian dollar and focus on other pairs that are offering more edge. For example, right now I'm assuming we still have yen weakness, and they do look similar. They do look similar. What about the pound US dollar? Maybe I'm completely wrong there. 100%. I just want to get a read on what's happening here. Come back testing the trend line. Well, Michael, to be honest, I really don't know. I don't know what's inside me that is just keeping me from really being interested over here, but I'm not. So if you see something, and you could just go ahead and make some annotations on the chart and share with us, then I'll look at it from your perspective. It looks healthy as far as you're long term. You're in a very strong trend. I I just I can't articulate or why that I'm not interested in it. I'm not. But if you are, and you could share some light, I'd be interested in it. Samantha, that was nice and simple. I think that was the first time that I was stuck being able to articulate, you know, why I wasn't happy with the pair, because it's it's not bad, but yeah, I guess that's the best way to put it. There are simply better opportunities elsewhere. This is obviously where I'm going to be focused on coming on Monday. And again, the good thing about trading down here, as we get closer to this support of this trend line over here, you also have support going back. If you follow my mouse, you see over here, this was resistance. Again, this was resistance right here. So this becomes a nice little area to be trading off of. If I'm wrong, I'll know right away. And then I'll also be looking shorts with the first support down here below. Um, And then now if we're able to go ahead and resume this trend, this uptrend from the breakout over here, off of here, there's a lot of opportunity upside. It's gonna give me better risk to reward. So of course, let's look at it right now. We have seen the New Zealand dollar very strong now, going on. I guess it was over here when the central bank met. Where is she at right now? What's above overhead? What's this resistance look like that's above her? I'm gonna look on the weekly chart here for a minute. I think she still has a lot of potential room to the upside before she runs into some heavy upside resistance. This is pretty small over here. You could see this into play over here, but I think it's pretty small. I think it's still got some potential, some room up here. Of course, it would be absolutely healthy and normal for it to be looking at any type of retracement right now, only because look at this. She's just made such a big move, right? So why I don't think this is really big resistance right above that it's at right now, I think that's pretty weak. Technically, she's really, really overbought. And it looks like the New Zealand dollar, again, everything comes back down to the whole trade deal. The 15th is such a big deal. If we get through the 15th of December without the US raising tariffs, we could continue to see some big moves in the New Zealand dollar and the Australian dollar, and weakness in the Japanese yen. I think today this is more of a dollar story. What's happening here on the New Zealand dollar, US dollar? We're seeing the dollar strength. It doesn't really look like anything like New Zealand dollar weakness to me. This just looks like more of her just stalling out a little bit after all these big moves, while we're seeing, the dollar firm up a little bit today. Thanks, Hanero. Exactly right. Wilford, if you go ahead and you're able to go ahead and spend a little bit of time of researching and preparing the plan that you see that we're trading here, and you go ahead and direct message to me, I'll take a look at it. Again, the initial effort has to come from you, and then I'm happy to help. It's kind of interesting to note. We've seen so far the U.S. dollar pick up that strength a little bit into the session. The Canadian dollar, which was so weak after its big misses, and yet everything's kind of stalling out here. You could see, probably without me drawing it in, the resistance right there above us that comes from just going back to here. You see that this was support, just heavy consolidation over here. You see where price is trading right about now. And then over here, it's easy to see the support. So this is a minor level resistance it's at right now. Again, it's nothing big, just like we were looking at the New Zealand dollar, US dollar. It's nothing big, but it's at a very minor resistance level right here. Where I have the blue box, I think this is really heavy resistance above, and this is should now be support down here. To the downside here, this where it could get interesting for us is we have this support level right here where the bottom of the blue box is. You could see here it was support, 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 resistance, support, support. That's why we have the bottom of the blue box there. And then we're also back within this trend line here. Any test of over here, this could also become a little bit interesting for us next week. We'll watch that. Big, good share. Big week next week. We have first of all, let's look at the calendar really quick right now. I could look at it actually from the daily view. We have on Wednesday, we have the FOMC statement, right? They're expected to be on hold, but nevertheless, the market's always going to price in what the Fed has to say. So that one and the press conference, it's going to be a big day. We're going to be, this is outside of our live streaming hours. We're definitely going to be live streaming together. I'll talk you through it as it happens in real time. The following morning is the ECB. Again, you have policy statement and press conference. That's also going to be a big one. Not focused in on here. It's happening, but you have Swiss Bank, and then you have the 12th. Oh, look at this. This is also the same day. This is the elections out of the UK, which should really provide further direction for the pound. So this is between Wednesday and Thursday. It's an explosive day. I'm definitely wondering whether this reaction is going to be a little muted because of what's happening on Thursday or not. We don't know. We'll find out. We'll take it as it comes. But it's a huge day next week. So what that also means is probably by the end of trading Monday, sometime into New York session on Tuesday, things are probably just going to die out until we get to Wednesday morning, or Wednesday afternoon New York time, which is when things should really get interesting. It's a busy, busy, busy next week. We're going to have a lot to walk ourselves through. Forex Live. I use Forex Live as like an RSS feed. I'll put it into the. If there's if any news comes across the wires, they pick it up really quickly, really quickly. So if all of a sudden I'm watching my charts and then I saw price move, 50 pips or 100 pips really quick, I know something happened. And at that point, it's not normal market behavior. It's not technical by nature. I go right away to Forex Live and I'll see what the headline was. If it's not there, I will go to news on Forex Factory. And if it's not there, I'll go to Zero Hedge. And if it's not there, I go to Twitter, all within that first 30 seconds. And I'm able to find out exactly what happened that way. For example, if President Trump right now were to tweet, the trade deal's off, there's no way I'm making any type of deal with China, the tariffs are going on December 15th, that's automatically going to affect the markets really quickly. I would have, watching the charts with you, the live stream, I would have no idea that happened. and I would go right away, and Forex Live would probably have that the moment it crosses the wires. They're really good at that. That's neat. I'm gonna Blair. That's I'm gonna give that a try and see if that's more effective. What's better for use? Um, as you guys know, with for example on the calendar, I know they're. I like the Forex Factory calendar a lot. I know that you don't get the pop up alert in real time, but I'm not trading off of the news on the release like that, so it's not really a big deal. Um, if it's more effective and better, I'll look for the Telegram to see. It's I believe they have a link for their Telegram somewhere. I see it often. There we go. It must be down here. No, I don't see it. Next time I come across the link to their Telegram, or if anyone has it, go ahead and share it in the chat for everyone else. Wilford, you could go ahead and you could direct mail me. Actually, you could go to the YouTube channel, and on the about section of the YouTube channel, there's an email address there. Wilford, actually, don't prepare your market analysis for next week. Watch hours over the weekend, all right, and focus off that. So, what we're doing works. Focus off of what we're doing and how we're doing it. And the plan that I want you to share is I want you to go ahead and spend a little bit of time, watch a couple of hours of our replays to see what it is we're doing and how we're doing it. And then I want you to go ahead, and that's what I want you to draft so that you understand what we're doing. And then I'll help you by cleaning up and explain to you in more detail. But I don't want to see that effort coming from you. And right now, lean on us instead of go ahead and I'm not looking at this moment, nor should you be go ahead and preparing a market analyst of what you expect to happen next week. You should be really looking to learn and absorb. You're in a good place. I do not have Instagram. I deleted Facebook for privacy reasons. If you haven't watched Oliver Stone's Edward Snowden's film, highly recommend it. Blair, if you have that URL to the Telegram link, that would be cool. I'm interested in that. If you could share it with us all, that's awesome. I was reading that trading in the zone shared with me again on the plane yesterday, and one of the things he mentions is in the beginning that the reason why trading is so difficult is because that you have so many options and you get to make the rules, and that's probably the hardest thing, Wilford, as a new trader, is that you are coming into this arena and you are able to decide what you want to do and how you want to do it. And of course, you don't want anyone else telling you different. But the fact of the matter is you're going to get crucified out there really easily, really quick. Uh, I, I I firmly believe, Wilfred, and that's why I'm willing to go ahead, and if you're able to put in that time and make the first effort to help you, because I fully believe that in an extraordinarily short amount of time, if you go ahead and you learn here and follow what it is that we're guiding you to do, that you will be able to actually make money in the markets by far quicker than any other way possible. And that's why I'm telling you, if you go ahead and put in the work and reach out, someone's going to join the channel. They're going to have no experience. I'll offer the same thing to them. Someone eventually is going to do it. I believe whoever does that is going to uh, be able to find their way to success. So I hope it's you. That's up to you. You get to make the decisions, and that means you either continue trading too much, taking trades with no plan, you have no idea how to trade, and you're going to lose money, or you make the decision that, wow, this guy's really offering to help me, and go ahead and lean on that. It's up to you. Yep. And so, yeah, awesome. I will do that. And there was nothing. Again, I don't know how much I read. I would say 20 pages. There was nothing that like I firmly disagree with. There were some things in there where I knew that, well, this is there seems to be so much in there that anyone could get out of that book, regardless. Anybody could get out of that book, and I believe that that book has the potential to help improve my trading, which is why I'm all about it. But there were a couple of things in there. Again, it's only 20 pages where I knew he wasn't a profitable trader himself, and it's just interesting to be able to pick that out and have that perspective. Um, and again, I'm not trying to in any way, shape, or form um, be contrary or adverse to anything that I believe that book is an asset, and I believe is going to I'll be able to take a lot from it. I'm all about it. Um, as far as what we do here, I'm not in any trades. And that's the thing. Uh, it'll be released Sunday morning, overnight. So it'll be released Sunday morning in Europe. I'll have the weekly Forex forecast, and that's going to give you a really clear idea of what I'm looking at, because that's when I'm going to be developing my trading plan going into next week. I'll tell you right now, if I hadn't been traveling, there's a solid good chance I would have taken this gold short as I was describing Wednesday. That's where I was focused. Uh, I'm not, so I am focused over here. What's going to be happening on the Euro US dollar? Um, I'm not sure where I'm focused, but that's why I am going to go ahead and put together my weekly Forex forecast to know exactly where I am going in till Monday, and I'm going to be looking at all the pairs we always look at. I know, glancing at this chart right here, I'm not looking at the Euro Japanese yen until we get above this resistance over here. Then I'll be looking for longs. Right now, I'm just kind of hanging out, waiting to see what happens. Um, you are down here at this support level, so it becomes interesting. The reason I'm not looking to play off this support level is because this resistance is so close to me. If I was entering like right here where my mouse was, I'm entering into a resistance level, and I don't do that. So that's on the sidelines for me. US dollar, Japanese yen, same thing, right? Closer down to here, the support level, that becomes a possibility to look for a long until we break below it. Breaking below this support level, I'll be looking for shorts, and above this line, I'll be looking for longs. So this pair is also on hold. US dollar, Canadian dollar is interesting. This one looks like if we get any retracement back down towards this blue line over here and this trend line over here, I'll be looking to take longs as long as this holds, this area here holds. So any type of retracements down here, this could happen definitely early on Monday. I would be looking to take a long here on the US dollar, Canadian dollar. This still looks good. I'm not into this trade now. I would be looking to re-enter this long. As long as we're above this support line over here, the higher we are above this trend line here also is positive. So any type of retracement out of here, I would also be looking to get long the Australian dollar, US dollar. I'm not looking to discretionary trade on these pound US dollars and Japanese yen breakouts. I have them in an automated system. I don't want to increase my risk. I don't need to right now. So I'm not looking for trades here, but I'll discuss them over the weekend on how they could be played and how they should be played. It's a tough week next week. It's a tough week next week because until we get Tuesday is going to be light. All right. Once we get past New York session on Tuesday, trading is going to probably be pretty tight range bound until we get past, except for the pound, until we get to the FOMC. This is a big deal. We have a really heavy calendar next week. Nothing going on at all on the US dollar, Swiss franc. This looks interesting to me. Also here, if we are able to resume downwards at all, if I could get a short entry at all during London or New York on Monday, I'm interested in looking at the Euro Australian dollar. Let me pause 1 second. All right. And I'm sorry to hear that. I didn't know that he had passed away. And actually, for in the 19 years I've been trading, Mark, and trading in the zone, has had a phenomenal reputation. I know he's greatly affected the lives of many traders. And again, I don't. And I'll share with you, some finer points of, things that I see differently, and that's okay. That's not to take away anything whatsoever that Mark has shared and given us all. And again, I know that I'm always looking to improve as a trader, and I know that book is gonna help me and provide a lot of valuable insight. So I embrace it, and I thank you for sharing it. And this does also look interesting here, the Canadian dollar, Japanese yen, but I'm gonna wait actually, and take a look during our weekly Forex forecast. I have this rare opportunity to be away from our 5 kids with my wife. We're gonna go enjoy some breakfast right now. Uh, as far as a Telegram group I like our live streams together. This provides community for all of us, and that's where we are right now, and it's really good. I'm developing a web portal for us to organize thoughts. I'm not considering any type of Telegram group or any other right now. Um, right now, I'm not. So, but I greatly enjoy the community and what we all have to share and offer with each other, and I'm thankful for that. Wilfred, really good question. I need to make another playlist to make it. Watch the replays of our live stream. Don't actually in that playlist you mentioned. There's a video called "A Very Easy and Profitable Trading System." That's awesome. That's phenomenal. You could watch that. You're not gonna. Yeah, I know you're not gonna be interested in it. It takes, you know, very few trades a year. Um, but there's a lot to learn from it, and it's phenomenal. Watch the live streams, the replays of the live streams, and uh, and that's a good. I'm going to help out by making a playlist anyway. Bring up. Before we sign off here, I want to show you just real quick which are some of those videos to watch because I like the initiative. Look down here, and these first four, you have the live stream right now, and then to the right of it, any video that has this photo, this thumbnail here, that's what I want you to watch. All right. So any one of them, you could start right. These three right next to it. Any video that has this thumbnail with the live in it is what I want you to go ahead and watch. And that is what you need. This video right here, again, this is phenomenal stuff. This is a black and white trading system, a set of rules. Although you will take very few trades, this is all you need alone to be profitable in the markets. And that's why you can learn from it. Even if you don't trade it as it is, you will learn a wealth of knowledge. But go ahead, and anything with this thumbnail here, this is what I want you to focus on, the replays of this. And glad to see that you are interested in go ahead and preparing this correct foundation. All right, everybody, have a wonderful weekend. Thanks for spending this time with me this morning. Uh, definitely, we'll still prepare the weekly Forex forecast for us all. And I hope the audio was good today. It's different than our normal setup. And I'll see you all on Monday. Have a great weekend, everybody.